Okay, so I'm going to keep talking about the different types of stem changers, but before I move on, we had just talked about E to IE stem changers. Tener and venir also fall under this category. They are both E to IE stem changers, except for the fact that they're irregular in their yo form. So they have an E to IE stem change everywhere but nosotros and vosotros, like E to IE stem changers. However, they also have a change in the yo. They have tengo and vengo instead of tieno or bieno. Okay, another type of stem changer are the E to I's. And they're a little bit easier than your E to IEs in that they all have IR endings. You don't have to worry about employing a bunch of different endings. They have the same ones, okay? And so they do exactly what your E to IEs did, except for the E and these stems change to an I, not an IE. And two of the ones that you'll see are repetir and servir. Okay, so let's look at servir. Okay, so you have the verb servir. Okay, if you take its ending off, it's an E to IE. So for most subjects, your E is going to become an I. But for nosotros and vosotros, it's going to stay an E. Okay, and because servir is an IR verb, you're going to use your IR endings when you conjugate it. So you're going to use these endings, okay? So if I wanted to say, I serve dinner at 6 in the evening, because it's not in the green box, I'm going to use the change stem. I'm going to use serve instead of serve. So I put serve, and since it's I goes with O, sirvo. If I wanted to ask, when do you serve dinner? Again, I'm still not in the green box, so I pick serve. And then for 2, it's the ES, sirves. If I wanted to be more formal and ask, when you serve dinner, I'm still not in the green box, so I pick serve. And then for usted, I would add an E. If I wanted to say she serves dinner at 7 at night, I'm not in the green box, so I still pick serve. And for she, it would be an E. If I wanted to say we serve dinner at 6 o'clock at my house, this time I am in the green box, so I'm not going to pick serve, I'm going to pick serve. And then for nosotros, it's an IMOS, servimos. And if I want to ask, y'all serve dinner? When do y'all serve dinner? Again, I'm still in the green box, so I'm going to pick serve, and then when I would add is. If I am in a Spanish-speaking country other than Spain, for that same question, when do y'all serve dinner? I wouldn't use the vosotros form. I would, and now I'm outside the green box. I'm going to use the ustedes form. I'm outside the green box, so I would use serve. And for ustedes, it would be an EN. And then for they serve dinner at 7 in the evening. I'm going to use serve because I'm outside the green box, and it's an EN. Okay, another set of stem changers are O to UEs. These again, as you can see over here as examples of them, we've got almorzar, costar, dormir, encontrar, jugar, poder, recordar, soñar. You can see that their endings vary. They have some that fall in this category are AR verbs, some are IR, some are ER. So you're going to have to be careful of the endings again, but all of them get lumped together because their O's change to UEs before you add the AR, ER, IR ending. You'll also notice that jugar gets lumped in here because it's the only verb of its type. It's a U to UE. So if I wanted to say I play, it becomes juego, you play, juegas, he or she plays, juega. Okay, so let's look at some examples of ODUE verbs. Okay, so over here I have almorzar, which is to eat lunch. If I want to say I eat lunch at 12 in the afternoon, and also you'll see down here I've given you the examples. Oops. The verb here, let me just do them again. I think it's easier to see it. Okay. So the verb is almorzar. Okay, so for most subjects, I'm going to take the AR off and I would change that O to UE. But for nosotros and vosotros, I would simply get rid of the AR. Okay, so if I want to say I eat lunch at 12, I'm not in the green box, so I'm going to use the changed stem, almuerz, and then for I, I'm going to add an O, almuerzo. If I wanted to say when do you eat lunch, that's still not in the green box, so I'm going to use almuerz, and then I'm going to add the AS, the AR ending for to. If I want to be more formal and ask you when you eat lunch, I'm not in the green box, so I'm going to use the changed stem, and I'm going to add the A. If I want to say he eats lunch at noon, al mediodía, I'm still going to use the change stem because it's outside the green box and add an A. If I want to say we eat lunch at noon, it is in the green box, so now I'm going to switch to almuerz, and then I'm going to add the AMOS. Because I don't make the stem change for nosotros and vosotros. So if I want to ask if y'all eat, when do y'all eat lunch, I'm not going to make the change, and I'm going to add the AIS. If I want to ask when do y'all eat lunch and I'm anywhere other than Spain, I am going to make the change because I'm using ustedes, which is outside the green box, and the change would be an AN. And if I want to say they eat lunch at 1 o'clock, I am going to make the change because I'm outside the green box, and I'm going to add an AN. And then over here I've got dormir. I would do the same thing. The only difference is that I'm using IR endings because this is an IR verb. So again, the verb is dormir, so I get rid of its ending. I'm left with the stem. For most subjects, I'm going to change my O to UE. For nosotros and vosotros, I'm going to leave my stem alone. So if I want to say I sleep 8 hours a night, it's outside the green box, so I'm going to pick duerm, and then I add the O, duermo. If I want to ask, do you sleep 8 hours a night, I'm still going to use the change stem, the duerm, and I'm going to add the ES. If I want to say, do you more formally, I'm going to use this change stem and add the E, and so on and so forth. And so when I get to nosotros, I wouldn't make the change because it's in the green box, so I'd use dorm. If I want to say we sleep, in my house, all of us, we sleep at least 8 hours, I would use dormimos. If I want to ask, do y'all sleep 8 hours a night, dormís. If I'm somewhere other than Spain, I would use ustedes, which is outside the green box. I'm going to use the change again, duerm, add the en, duermen. Y'all sleep 8 hours a night. I'm going to make the change, duermen.